Welcome to the Grizzled Geek Reviews Infinity War.
Who the hell are you guys?
Well, folks, guess what we watched tonight?
What did we watch?
We just got back from Infinity War. It is 1:30 in the morning.
It is late.
We all have to work tomorrow.
Yay.
And we're here for you.
Just for
No,
you
we're
guys.
not. I'm here for me because I watched Infinity War.
Once again, Doug is not with us. He is
In Disneyland.
in Disneyland.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're not going to be able to see Infinity War, that's a good alternative.
It's a good excuse, I'd say.
Yeah,
I'm wondering when Disneyland's going to put a theater in so you can watch Infinity War at Disneyland.
yeah.
It'd be so cool.
That would be awesome. That'd be the best place to watch it. But
Yeah.
all right, so here's how it's going to work. Three of us are going to tell you what we thought of Infinity War without spoiling it initially, right? Which should all take all of 2 minutes,
Right.
Yeah.
and then we'll move right on into spoilers. We'll let you know
Yeah.
when it happens. So by the time this comes out, everybody should have seen it already.
Yeah.
According to the pre-sale numbers, everyone will have seen it by then.
Right.
If there any indication, our theater was packed.
It was packed, yeah.
All right, well, did it live up to the hype, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Not in the way that I thought it was going to, but still awesome.
Absolutely. This thing was packed with surprises. They did a really good job of keeping the plot under wraps. I had no idea going into this thing. I mean, I read Infinity Gauntlet,
Sure.
Yeah.
right? Read the comics. There's a few things I was expecting, a few
Right.
things I was hoping for, a few things I didn't even hope to see.
Right.
And I was not ready for a lot of what I saw. So,
And not disappointed.
and not disappointed
No,
at all.
yeah.
This was I don't even know how you would go about putting this movie together. You know, with this much, I mean, and turn out this good.
Yeah.
You know, that Civil War was a feat. This is leave
Yeah.
Civil War in the dust.
There was definitely not a problem with pacing.
No, not at all.
No, it was
Not at all.
breakneck speed from the very beginning, from the pre-credit, initial bit. It's so hard to talk about this without spoiling.
Yeah.
But all right, I think everybody got their moment to shine with all these characters. I think there was definitely some surprises. Yeah, there's no way of saying saying it without spoiling anything. So yeah, I did not see a lot of this. How do you feel coming out of this? What's your feeling, Shane?
Anticipation.
We got a whole year to wait for the next Avengers movie. What about you, Kirsten?
I feel like I was on a roller coaster
Yes.
and I got to the end of it and it just dropped off and I don't know what to expect.
I don't know what to
Like,
expect.
Does the roller coaster continue? Do I die? What happens?
Yeah, I'm like, I gotta tell you, I ran the gambit of emotions through here. I mean,
Yeah.
all the excitement.
Yeah.
I laughed. I almost cried at some point. Maybe I did a little bit, but there was, I gotta say, if there was anything disappointing about it at all, it would be that because there were so many characters, not everybody got as much attention as some
I would
did.
agree with that.
And maybe if some of your characters, maybe if you have a favorite character that, you really like and decorate your set with, that maybe they might not get as much screen time as you would hope for.
Yeah, I don't think that detracts from the film at all. 'cause-
I'm not saying it detracts from it. I'm saying if I had to find anything,
Yeah.
Right.
I'm hard pressed to find anything to complain
Yeah,
about.
well, yeah, that would be like the big fault, and it's not a
Right.
fault. It's just
Yeah.
there's so many characters.
Yeah.
This is like that excitement you felt when you watched Avengers and there were 6 of your favorite heroes on screen,
Yeah.
or 5 of your favorite heroes in Hawkeye.
Yes.
Then this is that times like 100.
Yeah. Absolutely. And there was some reunions of characters and first meetings of characters in this that you've been waiting for a while
Yes.
now. And
They were everything you wanted. Them.
you were everything you wanted and more. They were pretty amazing. Yeah, it is a roller coaster of emotions, but not once did it let up. It was amazing. So, I mean, I don't think we could say much more about the movie without getting into spoilers.
It was very action-packed. It was really hard to tell when like one act ended and another began.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a few key points where it was moving, I guess, moving acts, but I think there was probably like 5 acts in this movie instead of the normal 3, just because of all the different story arcs that they had to weave together. There was 3 main through stories, right? And the fact that they kept pace, it was masterfully done. I thought so. So we're gonna rate the movie now. Now, not that you need us to tell you that it was good.
Right.
I think everybody knows this movie is good. Yeah. So we'll get into what we feel about the movie, but let's rate it. All right, Shane, 1 to 10. What are you giving this?
I give it a solid 9.5.
9.5. Nice.
That's where I'm going to say, actually.
9.5?
It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty damn close.
It's pretty damn close.
Yeah.
I also am going to give it a 9.5. That's a big solid.
Yeah.
That's about as close to perfect score as you can get from us.
Yeah.
Now, I always said, we always try and fit it in. Where is it in the Marvel of the 18 films? It's hard to say.
Yeah.
With one viewing.
It's definitely their crowning achievement, but it's not going to be my favorite movie.
So what's your favorite? Let's do that. Let's say what our favorite Marvel movie is and see whether it's better or worse.
Yeah.
What's yours?
I think through all the movies and pick one.
Yeah.
That's hard.
It's hard to pick a favorite. I mean, I have a favorite, but I have my reasons.
Well, no, this is my first time reviewing a movie with you guys, so I'm going to go with Hulk. And I know it's a weird pick, and it's not really part of the MCU, but I really that was the first superhero movie where you got to see a good the fight you always wanted to see, right? I always wanted to see Hulk and Abomination go at it on screen.
That's true.
He wasn't fighting humans. He wasn't fighting himself. He wasn't fighting a giant poodle. He was fighting the Abomination. That was great. That's my favorite. And plus, Eddie Norton and Liv Tyler, 2 of my favorite actors, was great.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed when I found out that Edward Norton wasn't going to play the Hulk anymore.
Right.
I understood why, but yeah.
But Mark Ruffalo did an excellent job stepping in.
Yeah, he definitely did. I think I like his Hulk better, but...
All right, I will say I am surprised, Shane, but I'm not going to fault you for picking Hulk. So, all right, Kirsten, what about you?
That's a hard one. I have seen all the movies, but not in sequential order, and I'm sure I've missed a movie here or there. So the most fresh in my mind would definitely be Winter Soldier. That was just an amazing amalgamation of everything.
Yeah.
And Ragnarok was so good.
It was so good.
It's so good. And I love Thor so much, and it highlighted a lot of him. So, it's either of those 2, Winter Soldier.
So is this rank above or below those?
Above, but only just.
Only just. What about you? You didn't say above or below?
It's going to be below the Hulk, but it's going to be tied to the next 10 movies. So
nice.
I have a hard time.
Shane really likes the Hulk.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, Hulk is not my favorite one, but I admit Winter Soldier is it's hard to say, I think it's the best movie out of all of them. My favorite, though, is the original Avengers, the first Avengers movie, because, I mean... That was that first time, yeah. I mean, that was the first time you saw everybody... We never saw anything like that before, right? And you're never going to get that feeling again.
Yeah.
Right.
We're seeing all your childhood superheroes meet and be together in a team. So no matter how big and spectacular the Avengers movies get from here on out, you're never going to beat that first feeling.
Right.
So that's why I always say that I can't judge the first Avengers movie.
Sure.
Because I can't look at it objectively.
Right.
Like I get 5 minutes in, I'm 8 years old again.
Right.
So
it's the best.
It's the best. I don't care. I can't see fault in that movie. But this is up there. I can't put it above the original Avengers. Not saying maybe a better movie, but I mean it's definitely bigger, definitely more spectacular. But one viewing right out the bat, fresh. I can't put it above that. So, but there you have it. Number 2 in all our books, or number 1 for you.
Yeah.
So, all right, there we have it, folks. High praise for this movie, and it deserves every bit of it. So there you have it. There's our spoiler-free. If you haven't seen this movie, what are you doing? Stop watching this and go see it.
Yes.
Right now.
Yeah, right now. Well, and then come back and get the spoilers.
We might not be able to do it right now because it's probably sold out still.
Probably. First weekend was crazy.
Hit pause and then come back when you can.
All right, so here we go. Warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoiler time. Wow. What a gut punch. This movie.
Oh my God.
We'll start with right off the bat with a big one. We knew if you know the Infinity Gauntlet story, you know that finger snap, they alluded to it several times.
Right.
They mentioned it twice in the movie. In the comics, Thanos' goal is to wipe out half of all life in the universe. When he can do it with a snap of his fingers when he gets them all. Wow.
Which he does.
I
was hoping for it. I hope it wasn't just going to be like, the snap of the fingers, half of the planet or half of the universe. No, he actually got to that moment, and it was like out of nowhere. It wasn't like, it's building up to this point. Yeah. It was like, what is he going to do? And then all of a sudden, snap. He did not.
Yeah, he did. Holy. And wow, I did not expect. All right, so there were some deaths before he got all the stones. And then with the snap of his fingers, he wiped out half life in the universe.
Yep.
Wow, which took a huge chunk of heroes.
Right.
The poor Guardians of the Galaxy, man, they drew the short straw.
Yeah.
Rocket is the only one that survives out of that group. I'm like, wow, was wiped them out.
Of all the heroes, very few lived. 50-50, sure, but
I have
the
a
heroes,
feeling that the
lot more than
Guardians of the
50-50.
Galaxy took the hit because they personally opposed Thanos and had been the most.
I don't think he purposely picked people out. I think it was just it was random. I think he
but even if he didn't purposely do it, he might have done it unconsciously.
Maybe.
Because everybody else it seemed to be fairly random who died, but all of the Guardians of the Galaxy, except for Rocket, who never encountered Thanos personally.
Sure.
Everybody else in that team did. Well, maybe Groot didn't.
All right. Well, let's break it down into pre-Gauntlet deaths and after Gauntlet deaths.
Okay.
All right, because I believe, if they can go back and correct, which they have to, obviously, have to correct the Gauntlet deaths, right? I think the ones before that are still dead, right? I mean, those were dead before that. They might. The Gauntlet looked pretty burnt out. I mean, even if they find a way to reverse what the Gauntlet did, I don't think they can bring back the people that died before that. So
maybe
out of those, there was a couple big ones too. A couple big deaths.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, half the surviving Asgardians gone.
Right? Oh my God.
Asgardians were already on a lifeboat. Just a few of them left, and half of the survivors are gone.
Right.
Loki and Heimdall die.
Yeah.
I mean, they said they was going to start off to show you how serious this movie was, and man, they did. I kind of thought maybe Loki.
Yeah, I was expecting Loki to die. He got his moment of redemption, in his own unique way, by lying. But yeah, he got his moment of redemption. We were all expecting him to have that moment, and the only way to redeem Loki was for him to sacrifice himself. Yeah, which happened.
Yeah, and then Heimdall going. That's just that was rough. The last act, he saved the Hulk. Which is, and then the other, I would say,
I thought he'd blown the Hulk and Thor off the ship, which I don't understand why he saved the Hulk and not Thor.
Like Thor was tied down. He couldn't get. I mean, he was
it's Heimdall. He could have taken that whole entire apparatus.
Maybe I don't know.
That was my opinion, and but he saved the Hulk, so that was. I
think Thor kind of gave him a look.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to watch it again, but I think he just gave him a look like, hey,
if you're gonna do something, do it now.
Do it now, yeah. Right. And I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about the first right off the bat killing off the Asgardians?
Oh my God, my heart.
Yeah.
Asgard, I love the Thor story plot, and so to have all of what happened in Ragnarok all be for naught. At least 50% of the people that were saved, that Thor could save off of that planet, gone. Completely wasted.
Yeah, I never caught that it was only half of them. Was it just?
Well, he mentioned.
He mentions it
later on.
That theater, if everybody was laughing.
Oh yeah, there were several moments. There were several scenes that you're like, I missed a couple jokes.
Yeah.
And people were laughing because like in
the moment when he says you're the worst brother, I didn't hear what he said.
Oh yeah.
Everybody laughed.
You really are the worst brother.
I had to ask James what he said.
Oh. Yeah.
I just didn't understand what he said.
But yeah, later on he says they wiped out half the remaining Asgardians. Right. So, yeah, there's a lot. We don't know if Korg made it or Meek or any of those guys from Thor Ragnarok, but well, we'll see what happens there. But I was what a way to introduce this new villain by killing off the most popular villain before him.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Loki's gone. And then the other huge significant death is Gamora.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a sacrifice. I mean, that was, you know, I don't think she's, I mean, if they bring her back, I don't know how they're going to bring her back, because that's...
The only thing I can imagine is her soul being attached to the soul stone, and maybe that's what makes it work, and that's why it didn't work the way that he wanted it to, or
which would
something
make
like
sense
that.
with the scene at the end of the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be...
So that's the
possible.
only thing that I can think of.
But that's a major death.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Well, and it hurt, too. Like, I don't know... Like, it's not that she isn't a, like, important character, but I hadn't, like, really made a connection with her until this movie. Like, seeing where she came from and how she grew up and, like, how Thanos and her, like...
Yeah, in the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie, all the emotional connection was actually with her sister.
Yeah.
See, that's where I really sort of an attachment to her, when her and, you know, Nebula, that relationship got explored in the last Guardians movie, which, I mean, it was a rough one. Yeah. And, you know, and then I guess the other major death with Vision, which, you know, they kind of teased about saving him.
I kind of figured he was going to die, so I was
he had a soul stone in his head. He always had a target on him.
Yeah.
So, you know, or the Mind Stone in his head, so.
There was like a moment of half hope.
Yeah.
Where they were like,
we
can fix it. We could do it. And then like, okay, yeah, do it. And then, you know, that gets ripped from your hand.
Yeah,
so.
you're like, oh. So, yeah, some major deaths that, you know, and then, of course, the finger snap. And then we lose Bucky, you know, we lose Falcon, we lose Scarlet Witch, I mean, we lose all the Guardians except for Rocket.
We lose Black Panther.
We lose Black Panther. Wow. Spoilers. Black Panther.
Which is bold after how well the Black Panther did.
For sure.
That is a bold choice right there.
But I think it was too late for them to change it once they found out how well Black Panther was doing.
Well, I mean, it also sets the world into like a sort of chaos, because now you've got this huge country that can do so much for the world, but you don't have a leader to back it up. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, you're put in a very like vulnerable situation, because if you had him, then he can send, you know, troops here and there and get this done. He's not there, so now
now it's chaos. We also lost Doctor Strange. You know, we lost Spider-Man. Yeah. Now, out of all the pre-snap deaths, they were all gut-wrenching.
Sure.
Post-snap, you're like, oh man, it's a gut punch, but you're like, okay, we know these aren't going to be permanent. You know, we hope. But the Spider-Man one was rough. You know, seeing him like Tony Stark holding him. Yeah. Yeah, that was probably the roughest death for me personally. Watching Peter, like, you know.
I'm gonna be honest. The death itself was a little comedic. Like, I don't feel like he played that death. It was too much. I see the light. Oh no, I see the light. I don't want to go.
I don't want to go.
It was a little too much, but I think what toned it down was also thinking about Tony Stark and how much he's gone through mentally, like emotionally, spiritually. He's broke down. And like watching him pass and knowing the sort of trauma this is going to add on to him, that was heartbreaking. So,
man. Yeah, I didn't find that comedic at all, though. Like, I don't know if maybe he was just trying too hard for you or something. You know,
a little bit.
Kid was maybe the kid's a little too experienced to act that part at that time. But yeah, I found more panic than comedy in that.
Right, I'm sure that's what it was supposed to, but for me, it came across a little over
cheese.
Too much.
A little cheese, yeah.
So Spider-Man death really hit me.
I found the Groot death pretty hard.
The Groot death was rough. You know, there was man, such gut punch moments here.
Yeah.
But I mean, Thanos was brutal. He was brutal.
Yes.
So, and all right. Besides the deaths, let's talk about Thanos a little bit here. Thanos is a bad guy. He, you know, yes, he was all powerful. Yes, he was a badass. They've been building him up, you know, since the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
but he had a lot more depth of character than I was expecting.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah.
You know?
He wasn't a generic bad guy.
Yeah.
Which is almost a first for Marvel.
Yeah.
It's,
It really is. I mean, you understand his motivation, if not agree with it, right? You don't.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely,
it was definitely logical.
yes.
I felt for him, when
When
going back
Gamora's-
to Gamora, I
Oh.
felt for him. You could see the struggle, and you could feel like, oh, I hate you, but
Yeah.
I feel your pain. I
No,
don't like it.
No, I didn't feel for him at all. I'm like, if you, my whole problem with that whole scene was if you can do that, it's not a sacrifice.
No, yeah.
If you can kill your kid, that's not a sacrifice.
I don't know.
That's
It's the struggle, though, I think,
Yeah.
to have your goals above the one that you love.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's looking for, is something that you struggle to give up in order to...
yeah,
And you
that-
saw the remorse in him, not just at that moment, but in every scene after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Right?
Well, my problem is if you love that person, you will at least try to find another way. He didn't. He agonized over it for a couple seconds and then decided, okay, well that's the way it needs to go. He didn't try and find any other way.
I mean, it was pretty straightforward. What are the...
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
It's
he-
true, yeah, it was.
That was the only person in the universe that he actually cared about,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So that was his only love. He had to sacrifice her, and I mean, like you said, he had strength of purpose, right?
Yeah.
That's. He said he failed one time before, and he couldn't let it happen again.
Yeah.
He apologized, and then the remorse. You could see the remorse,
Yeah.
even ever after that. Not just at the moment, but going forward in that tender moment, if you can call it tender, with Thanos, with him and the Scarlet Witch, right,
Uh-huh.
where he sympathizes with her.
Yeah.
You know, and he just he stopped for a moment, showed sympathy before, because if he didn't, he could have just like boom right there.
Right. Definitely.
But he actually took a moment before all that to show sympathy for her.
Right. Well, and
So-
even before that, whenever we have Mantis on top of him and Quill's questioning, tell me it's not true. I had to. It wasn't just I had to. It was like broken
Yeah.
up. Like, I'm struggling with the fact that I have to admit.
And Amanda's
it.
even saying he has great,
Yeah.
remorse.
Yeah, I empathize with him more at that point than at the time he did it, because
Sure.
if they tried to convey this internal struggle, it didn't seem like a whole lot of struggle to me.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, Thanos is a bad guy though. I mean, he's pretty amazing.
I was impressed.
Yeah, it was. Other than that, I mean, it was really good. I had a little bit of nitpicking at that point,
Sure.
but yeah, it was great. He was very well developed, and they definitely used the 2.5 hours to get his story across.
Right. All right, let's talk about favorite moments. So full spoiler now. You got a favorite moment, guys?
Yeah,
Yes,
I got a few. There's a lot of cool moments.
There's a
there.
lot of cool moments.
I think my favorite moment is actually seeing War Machine actually be War Machine.
Yeah, when he can open up and actually
Yeah, when he had
lay down to hurt.
Well, it wasn't just a suit of Iron Man armor with a minigun strapped to his shoulder. It was
bulked out and had all the weapons.
Yeah,
It was War Machine.
He was an arsenal,
Yeah.
and he used it to great effect. And that was War Machine doing War Machine.
Yeah, in this movie, and in fact, they separated him even more because Tony Stark, when they first saw War Machine in Iron Man 2, they looked the same.
Yeah,
It was just a silver Iron Man suit with a minigun on him.
Yeah, it was the Mark One.
Yeah, it was the Mark 1. But this
Or
time,
Mark Two, I guess. Is what it is.
Tony went the opposite way. He got the nano suit, right? So he's more slim and, like the painted on armor. And War Machine's a more bulked up,
way more
heavy
bulked
weapon.
up.
So that's pretty awesome. Seeing
Yeah.
War Machine be War Machine, that's a good one. All right, what about
I have so many.
so many? I know my favorite funny line in it was when Scarlet Witch came out to save him in Wakanda, and Denai Guerrero was all like, why was she up there in the tower?
Oh, yeah, the whole time, yeah.
Why was she up there the whole time?
Yeah, so broken down to funny, like those sort of moments.
Yeah.
My favorite funny moment was definitely the moment where Guardians of the Galaxy is meeting Tony Stark, and Drax is like, tell him about the dance-off.
The dance-off to save the universe.
Something really cool, and he's like, well, I wouldn't really call it a dance-off. You mean like Footloose? Yes, exactly like Footloose.
Tell me it's still the best movie ever. It
and
never
Tony's
was.
look just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm working with idiots.
Yeah.
All of them idiots.
That Tony Stark look at that point was perfect.
Yeah, that was pretty great. It's like, we're part of the Avengers. Who are the Avengers? The greatest heroes of Earth. Like Kevin Bacon.
Like Kevin Bacon?
No, he never was.
Yeah. All of Quill's fucking stories are coming back at this one. Where people are actually from Earth. I think, for me, one of my favorite moments in the movie, Thor getting Stormbringer.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yes.
Showing up with Stormbringer.
Heck yes.
And this was, his new hammer is a kind of like a hodgepodge of a bunch of hammers from the comics. So he lost Mjolnir, as we know, from Thor Ragnarok. So he's got his new hammer. So the new hammer, it's axe-back hammer, right? So Thor in Legend, his axe is Jarlborn, right? So it looks like that.
Okay.
But the Thor from the Ultimate Universe, which is what a lot of the movie Marvel Universe is based on, looks like that hammer. It's an axe-back hammer.
Okay.
So the look of it is just like his Ultimate's hammer.
Okay.
And then they name it Stormbringer, which is Beta Ray Bill's hammer.
Yeah.
So if you're a big comic fan, you know who Beta Ray Bill is. He was one of the first people in the comic worthy to hold Thor's hammer. He got his own hammer, who was also axe-back hammer.
Yeah.
Kind of had an edge on one side.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about that is the fact that it seems to be more powerful than Mjolnir, which, I mean, I'm a traditionalist. Thor wields Mjolnir.
Right.
I would argue that maybe it's not hit the weapon that's so strong, but
He can wield
Thor
his new power.
has been able to,
Because if you watch Ragnarok, he's unleashed his power, just like he did in the comics. He unleashed his god power, basically, and became all-powerful. Now he has a weapon he can channel that power through, I think, is what it is.
Yeah,
but
maybe that's it. But I just, like, even in the comic books, Mjolnir's been broken more than once.
Yeah.
At one point, he had refused it together. It was cracked, but it was still Mjolnir. And he finally had it fixed. So I'm hoping in the MCU they at least fix Mjolnir.
Yeah.
And maybe he passes
Stormbringer off to Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray Bill or Thunderstrike.
Or Thunderstrike. They're not going to have Thunderstrike. I need to break it to you. They're not going to bring in Thunder. Beta Ray Bill will show up before Thunderstrike does.
Yeah.
But he was another Thor ripoff.
When Thor was dead.
When Thor was, quote unquote
after
dead.
the onslaught, there was Thunderstrike. But maybe they'll bring in Beta Ray Bill. Maybe they'll decide that even for the Marvel audience, a skeletal horse is probably not the best replacement.
He's an alien. He's an alien.
It looks like, Well,
they're going cosmic with the Marvel Universe, so they could totally bring him in.
They could bring him in.
He had his face on the building in the Sakaar in Thor Ragnarok. They had Beta Ray Bill's face.
Oh, I did not see that.
Yeah, they had to buy Beast, Beta Ray Bill's face. A lot of Easter eggs in that movie.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorite moments, though, is not the first reveal of the Iron Spider armor where you see the legs.
Yeah.
But during one of the action scenes where you see, like, the comic where they revealed it, where he's doing the classic Spider-Man jump and he's got all 8 limbs.
Yeah.
Like, that was straight off of one of the comics.
So was the cradle where he cradles Mantis and then uses the legs as a cage around him. That was straight out of the comics, too, where he rolled. Yeah, we always wondered, because they called it the Iron Spider suit in Civil War in the comics. Tony Stark gives him a suit of armor.
Sure.
Called the Iron Spider, and it had the 4 legs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were wondering, like, if they're calling that suit the Iron Spider suit, does it could have the 4 legs?
Right.
And it did.
Yeah.
So that
Spoiler.
Spoiler. Well, yeah. These are all spoilers.
Yeah.
We're deep in it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, were there any other favorites?
Oh, it's so hard to go back through all of them.
I know.
The movie just overall was so awesome. Just seeing everyone be able to have their own piece and show off their abilities, and their interactions with each other was perfect. I don't know if I could pick any more. Just the movie in general.
Who got was he Captain America got a cheer when he showed up?
The Iron Man armor.
Iron Man armor got a cheer. Yeah, the new Iron Man armor got a cheer. Black Panther got a cheer. And so did the Iron Spider when it sprouted the legs for the first time. He got a cheer. So people were excited.
Oh, you know what? Seeing Doctor Strange use his reality powers, because he's kind of like he's using his circles and
his shields and whips and weapons and that.
Right, but to actually see him start to meld reality, because he has that ability too. And I was the entire time you're like,
not as powerful as a reality stone, but
you can at least try.
When he split himself, that was awesome.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
They did the Shiva thing.
Yeah.
And then
that was pretty awesome. Doctor Strange got some moments to shine. It was pretty amazing. It was so much good stuff.
Oh, and then the dwarf.
Oh yeah, Peter Dinklage. Yeah. I was going to bring it up in cameos, in surprise.
Yeah, but that was one of my favorite moments. Is my favorite scenes, I guess, was the whole Dinklage arc.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they actually went with the dwarves from the Asgardian dwarves, and they actually had the forge, the Heart of the Dying Star forge that Mjolnir was built, and in Norse legend, obviously the dwarves forged the hammer, and it was Peter Dinklage. He played a dwarf, but they're giant.
Right.
They
giant
the
dwarves.
trope.
Yeah. So he's a giant dwarf. So that was awesome when he built a new hammer. That was a cool moment. Another favorite cameo and surprise, probably the biggest surprise, and one I was not expecting at all, was Red Skull.
Yeah.
So surprise, surprise, Red Skull's in the movie. First time we've seen him since Captain America: First Avenger.
And if it is indeed
Hugo Weaving,
that was very, very well kept secret.
Yes.
He's not in the cast list anywhere else, or people would have been talking about it.
Yeah, they don't have him listed in the cast. So yeah, Hugo Weaving. That was, if it was him.
Who said he would never reprise the role?
Yeah, he did. He said he'd never do it. But
it's hard to argue with Marvel money.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like it was a huge piece of it either. I mean, he was basically the guide, and then was like, "Okay,
yeah,
gotta kill her."
But yeah, I mean, it's good to know that he's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, the Red Skull is an awesome bad guy.
Yeah.
And finally one that they keep killing off their bad guys. So they're like, Killmonger was an awesome bad guy. And they kill him off. So Red Skull was an awesome bad guy, and now they kill him off. So now Loki's gone. So keep killing off the bad guys. But
well, now they brought Red Skull back, they have a possibility to do a whole bunch with the Cosmic Cube and not have to have Doom for it.
Yep.
Which, I mean, they will have Doom, but the Red Skull is Red Skull used the Cosmic Cube.
Yes. He was,
almost as often, if not as often, as Doom did.
Yes. Red Skull, once you get, it's the cosmic power. That would be cosmically powered Red Skull showing back up. That would be awesome.
Yeah, which was really cool, I thought, like going way back to, Captain America: First Avenger, where they are like, he brought out the cube, and you're thinking, oh, that's the Cosmic Cube.
Yeah.
If you're a comic book nerd, you're like, oh, it's the Cosmic Cube.
It's the Cosmic Cube.
They turned it into an Infinity Stone to go down a different path.
Yeah.
Maybe because he quit.
Maybe.
Like,
who knows?
We can't do the Cosmic Cube now, but now they can go back and do that. So.
Yeah. So that was a really cool cameo. I mean, it was like, did not expect that. There was a lot of stuff that was. I will say that.
Yeah, I kept expecting death. Right, just as a nod to the fans. I was like,
or maybe Hela at least, or something, some kind of death. Yeah. But it wasn't just him courting death. They actually gave him a reason for it, reason for what he was doing, what he wanted to do. But I will say, if we go back to talking about our nitpicks, if there were any, very few. Mine, as I mentioned earlier, was the Hulk. We got one scene with the Hulk in the very beginning of the movie, and we never got to see him again.
It was pretty badass, though.
It was a pretty badass scene. I will say this. I mean, Thanos beat him, as he does in the comics.
Right.
But in the comics, Thanos has said that there are a few beings there's no one he fears in the universe, but he will actively avoid fighting the Hulk if he can help it. So,
and to be 100% fair, he didn't get a fair fight out of that. He got knocked out before he could actually get into his rage mode. So.
True. That is true. So, and he put a hurt on. So, but we were teased. It was a lot. That's another thing. The trailer teased a bunch of stuff we didn't see. Yeah. Right? That was a total mislead on the trailer. Like the whole them running through Wakanda, with the Hulk in the background.
Right.
Yeah, none of that. That scene never happened. There was another scene with the Bruce Banner and Natasha Romanoff outside in Wakanda that we never got to see that. So, there was a lot of stuff. Yeah, they teased a lot of stuff. They were very good at keeping this a secret, teasing, showing us trailers that were awesome, but yet didn't give us anything or misled us. Yeah.
I'm curious to see how this next year is going to be, because they can't. Like, if you get anything leaked, then it ruins. Like, I won't say it ruins the entire movie, but it ruins at least some of the mystique of it all.
Yeah,
so
you're like,
it's going to be a really rough year of them trying to keep the secret.
How tight they kept the secrets on this film.
Yeah.
I think they finally found a crew of people who value the art more than the satisfaction of leaking stuff to people.
Yes.
Right?
They got a tight knit crew. Because they kept things in a wrap, and they went out of the way. They didn't give the cast didn't even have full scripts.
Yeah.
Right. So.
No accidental leaks of stuff.
Yeah.
Or less accidental leaks of stuff.
But yeah, I say that would be one of my nitpicks. That the Hulk wasn't in as much as we were led to believe he'd be in it. The other nitpick, I guess, is that while they were pretty badass, the Black Legion kind of went out like bitches when they went out.
Thanos is like Praetorian Guard, basically.
Yeah,
his guys. But
I mean, they established themselves early on as being pretty badass, so that was good. I was hoping more with them, but
yeah. Well, I think they had to tone them down a little bit because is like there's no way you're gonna have the cool face off with Black Widow and what's her name, the leader of the Homage.
Yeah.
Against. I don't even know the names of the Black Guard. I just know Thanos. But like you have to tone them down so that people with a human skill level could fight them, right?
Yeah.
And still have it be believable, even though they're still kind of superhuman. You're like, oh, I can't ninja flip like that.
Yeah.
But so they had to tone them down a little bit because there's all the heroes' power levels aren't quite as much. Like even the Hulk isn't as badass as he is in the comic books.
Right. So they're always kind of toned down a little bit.
Yeah.
They stepped it up, although the Black Legion was pretty badass, right?
Yeah. For
Proxima Midnight took out Okoye and Black Widow pretty. She held it on against those two and took them out.
Yeah.
That fight in the beginning with Tony Stark and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Ebony Maw was a badass.
Yeah, that was a badass.
Yeah.
I think those were the hitters of that. Too.
Yeah. I think they were the big guy and Ebony Maw. Yeah. All right. Was there anything that you guys had any nitpicks about?
I was kind of disappointed in the way they utilized Doctor Strange. I expected less mystic kung fu and more straight mystic arts.
Yeah.
We did get some of that when he finally did get into it. I guess that was where they were going. Maybe they're just coming from the angle that he's only been the Sorcerer Supreme for like 5 years at this point.
Sure.
Or maybe 8. But yeah, there was less spellcasting and more Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole movie was about kung fu.
Yeah,
whole kung fu aspect of Doctor Strange.
It didn't ruin anything for me, but I was like, if you're gonna have the Sorcerer Supreme do battle, he better do it with sorcery, in my opinion. That's
true, I suppose.
Maybe the next
more than just shields and whips and that, but he did. He opened up a little bit there. All right, Kirsten, what about you? Anything?
I think the only thing that I have a gripe about, and this is more just a personal, like for myself, I'm sure no one else feels this way, but I didn't feel a really strong connection to Vision's death. And they dragged it out to be something really, really significant, which I understand because he is the stone. The last stone creates the gauntlet, everyone's death and everything. But him personally, like, I wanted to feel for Scarlet Witch because I love her as a character, but I haven't had any attachment to Vision, so his death wasn't.
Yeah, we never got to see any character development for him really.
Right.
We got some in Civil War.
Well, we got to see enough of their relationship that I actually felt for her.
Right.
I felt for her more over his death than for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the only other like little nitpick that I had was the fact that Captain America didn't get a shield appropriate to Captain America.
The half shield thing that was going on.
Yeah.
I was waiting for a moment where he just boom, and then it turns into
a round shield. Yeah.
Yeah, like I would have even preferred like he just got a silver vibranium shield akin to what he had when he was U.S. soldier.
When he was Nomad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he's supposed to be Nomad, they didn't call him anything. They called him Captain. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
There
was that point in time when he left the office of Captain America, put on the black suit, and was the captain.
And we didn't get our reunion of Tony and Cap.
No.
They didn't. They teased it a little bit there, and then
never did their paths cross.
Yep. No, we never got that. that bridge never got mended.
I mean, it could in the future.
Yeah. But speaking of the future, that's how we're going to end this out here. Obviously, with the big mic drop at the end, the snap of the finger, half of everybody going, where in the world are they going in the next movie? Now, they have not released the name. This movie's out next year. Thank goodness we only have a year to wait. It's going to be a long year. But they've not released the name of the movie for, said that the name's going to spoil it.
Oh.
And everyone's throwing out stuff like, it's going to be, Secret Wars. It's going to be, Secret Invasion with the Skrulls because there's 2 movies that come out in between. It's going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it's going to be Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But neither one of those are chronologically in between these 2 movies, right? Ant-Man and the Wasp is right after Civil War, so it's in the past, and Captain Marvel is in the 90s, so it's way
set in the 90s.
Set in the 90s, so it's way in the past. So, so there's nothing in between these 2 movies timeline-wise, that's going to have anything. So where do they go from here? What do you see?
I can't even begin to speculate because they surprised me completely with what they did with this movie. I knew the general outline. Thanos has got to go get all the Infinity Gems, and he's going to stick them in his gauntlet. And then after that, what? But it was so not like what actually happened in the comics. I couldn't tell you. All I do know is that I would lay money that it's going to involve Adam Warlock.
Yeah. He was a major part of Infinity War, the first.
And they revealed him in Guardians of the Galaxies 2, or they revealed him they hinted towards.
Oh, Adam Warlock, he's the perfect being, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in the comics, he's the one that defeats Thanos.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's the key to defeating Thanos.
He's the only other person who can wield the gauntlet, all his power. All right. So what about you? What do you think? Do you have any speculations about where it's going?
There's some things that I would like to see. I'd like to see. I would love for there to be a concept of like old magic with new technology. So I'd love for there to be a moment where I can't think of her name, but Black Panther's sister.
Oh, Shuri?
Yeah, Shuri. Where she's talking with them, and they're talking about all the relics from the oh goodness, I can't think of the words.
The tribes?
No. Doctor Strange's collection.
Oh,
so
okay.
like they're talking about the relics, and she's like, and they're like running through possibilities, and she's like, well, I could amplify this, or if I could figure out how this works, and then maybe they could use something to, I don't know, revert time or something. I that's the best that I can.
Because it looked like Thanos burnt out the gauntlet after doing that. It looked like it. We don't know if it is, but
I didn't notice that. But
yeah, the gauntlet looked all messed up after.
The gauntlet for sure. I don't know about the stones.
I don't know about the stones. Stones
they looked intact, but they weren't glowing. But that could just be that they're inactive. They're not in use, or maybe they need recharge.
Maybe they used all that power to do that. Right. It's a big feat. I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I know. What little we do know, we know that Avengers 4 has filmed, right? Or they're, I think this whole Fox deal it's a shame this Fox deal isn't going to be done until, at the latest, they said next summer. So it could happen any time now. But if they did, they could have access to Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, Doctor Doom.
Yeah, they can bring in
all these characters.
Stuff.
And, who knows what's going to happen with this. But I don't really know what storyline, what name would give it away, what's going to happen. Because, I mean, we do know that we've seen some set pics of Captain America back in World War II, right? And I don't know whether there'd be like someone speculated like some time hopping or something like that going on, but I don't know how they would, I don't know where they're going with this. I don't know what story. I'm racking my brain. Let's Secret Wars, Secret Wars, something like that. But we'll see. I honestly don't know where it's going. I know they got to reverse what happened in this movie, or they just lost a whole bunch of, franchises. Yeah. Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and Black Panther.
I mean, maybe it's necessary with as many movies as it is. It's hard to keep up and focus on them.
They're not keeping Black Panther dead.
Yeah.
I don't care what they do about Spider-Man or anything else.
But I wonder if it's going to be selective of who actually returns and who's unable to return.
Yeah, it might be.
Now it is the part of the show where Doug interrupts the gang.
All right, little add-on to the Grizzled Geek review. I did get to go see the Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War, on the 27th. The rest of the group went on 26th on Thursday. I went Friday night. Got to see it in IMAX 3D, and if you have not seen it that way, I highly recommend it. It is well worth the price tag, especially since I don't think the 3D is any more than a regular IMAX. So get the IMAX 3D if you can. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about Avengers Infinity War. I'll do a little bit of non-spoiler. I'm assuming this is at the end where you've already seen some spoilers, but anyways, I'll give my initial reactions and then get into spoilers. I thought this was a really good movie. One of the best, I think it's the best Avengers movie, in my personal opinion. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, I think it's the best of the Avengers movies. It's not the best Marvel movie, period. I think that both Ragnarok and Black Panther were better movies. But that was mostly because there was a lot fewer, the cast of characters was a lot smaller. You were able to really delve into all of the characters. This was a huge ensemble movie, so people were going to get shortchanged. Some story elements were going to move really quickly, but overall, really well done. I like where the Russo brothers are taking the story, so I'm excited to see the next movie. Which, hey, that's kind of the point: is have fun and be excited for what's coming if it's something, a series. So on both points, they did really well on that. It's kind of hard to otherwise review this without going into spoilers, so let's go ahead and delve into spoiler territory. And I guess I'll go thematically rather than chronologically through the movie. I enjoyed the humor in the movie. They did a good job starting off with a lot of humorous bits in probably the first 30 to 50 minutes of the movie, and then slowly transitioned away from that when it would become, would be a hindrance to the emotional impact of a lot of the elements of the story. But they snuck in every once in a while with appropriate characters at appropriate moments. But overall, I thought the comedy hit very well, and really established kind of the interaction between the various characters. Especially when you have egos running into each other, like Stephen Strange and Tony Stark. Those were some great moments, which included some good humor. Obviously, all the stuff with the Guardians of the Galaxy, especially the stuff where they met Thor, very funny. Loki gets a great line where he gets to pull out the "We've got a Hulk." I actually think he says "We've got the Hulk" line, which is really good. Really cool that he got to say that. But yeah, so I like the humor a lot. As far as the character work goes, I thought they did a really good job with those characters who you got to focus on, though there were a few that got the short end of the stick because of that. I was disappointed to see how little screen time and how little real impact Black Panther had in the movie. He got some cool fight scenes and he got to be kingly, but otherwise didn't really get to push his character forward all that much. Also, Captain America's team got some cool moments action-wise, but not a lot character-wise. They dropped the ball of Bruce Banner and Black Widow meeting back up. They just kind of had an awkward, hey, how have you been? Where have you, whatever. No, where have you been? No really pushing forward that storyline. That probably ended up on the cutting room floor. Captain America gets some cool moments, but otherwise he's just kind of Captain America. There's no real story there. It was his whole team kind of got the short end of the stick as far as they got some cool action, but no real character development. That was primarily reserved for the Guardians, Thor, Doctor Strange, Tony Stark, and Spider-Man. They had a really good dynamic going between the three of them. And then Thanos. Thanos got the most. And then Vision and Scarlet Witch. I love how much time they actually took to develop Thanos in this movie. You could make the argument that this was his movie. It wasn't the Avengers movie. It wasn't the Guardians movie or anything like that. It was Thanos' movie. We got to see a little bit about his backstory, got a lot about his motivation, which I believe they've retconned the comics to use this motivation now from this movie, and I love it. I'm not usually a fan of retconning comic book characters, but in this case, I think this is a far superior Thanos. I like his motivation. I like the conflict of, you know, a sociopath who believes what they're doing is the best thing to do, is the right thing to do, and that they're the only person with the will to do it. So while I think there are a lot of flaws in his ideas, because basically, you know, his point of view is, you know, the universe is overcrowded and you've got to thin the herd, I guess. Well, he's going to have to do this every, you know, 100,000 years or so, maybe 10,000 years, come back and wipe half the universe's population out of existence if you go with the motivation he has. But anyways, it's cool to have a conflicted villain like that. It made a lot of the scenes, especially between him and Gamora, between him and Tony Stark, all of the real encounters, I loved how he played out on screen. It was amazing. I even liked they toned down the Infinity Gauntlet quite a bit. It wasn't nearly as powerful as it was in the comics. I mean, he only had it briefly, the full thing, but even when he had pieces of it, it was very much toned down. They used the kind of, I guess, a mechanism where he had to actually clench his fist to use the power of the various stones. So that played out really well in some cool encounters where the good guys were basically just trying to keep him from closing his fist and using the power of the stones. The encounter, I'm not going to spoil it too much, even though this is a spoiler review. The encounter between him and Iron Man and the Guardians and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange was amazing. It was probably the best action scene of the whole movie, was that encounter with Thanos and trying to get the gauntlet away from him. So that was really, really cool. Okay, let's talk about, I guess, those are the kind of the character moments that were really good. Obviously, you could tell from the previews, the Vision and Scarlet Witch was a huge part of the story. It played out okay. It makes a huge leap in the 2-year period between Civil War, where Vision is kind of awkwardly hitting on Scarlet Witch and there doesn't really seem to be anything there, to 2 years later they've got this romantic fling on the side that they're keeping secret. Whatever, that's fine that they make that leap there. It felt kind of weird and rushed, but it played into the story pretty well, so I'm not gonna fault them too much for that. But overall, the whole Vision Scarlet Witch part of the story didn't click real well with me. I didn't think it was bad. It just wasn't a highlight of the movie for me. So it was there. It moved the plot forward. It led to some interesting encounters and stuff like that. So let's move on to. Well, before I get into the Black Order, which is a big issue in the movie for me, let's talk about a few of the other cool moments. We got a cool, I don't want to call it a cameo because it wasn't exactly a cameo. It had a pretty big part. Peter Dinklage played a cool dwarf who was twice the size of, you know, Hulk or Thor. So I don't know but I guess that's their interpretation of what a dwarf was. He's really cool. Had a really cool story element with Thor and Rocket and Groot, so that was a really neat thing. Another cool cameo, not exactly a cameo, was when Thanos went to get the Soul Stone. We find that the Soul Stone, it has not exactly a guardian, but a guide that explains how to get it, and that guide is the Red Skull. Not played by Hugo Weaving. They had another person stand in who did a pretty good job of mimicking Hugo Weaving's voice. So until you see the credits, you may not realize that it's not Hugo Weaving. But anyways, it was a really cool moment. I actually liked that character a lot. At first, I was kind of like, oh, they're throwing in a what's that DC character that he looked a lot like? Not the Phantom Stranger, the Spectre. He looked a lot like the Spectre. I thought, oh man, are you going that way? But then once he walked forward and you see it's the Red Skull, and you're like, sweet. We know what happened to the Red Skull after he touches the Tesseract. That's awesome. And then we get a great moment between Thanos and Gamora, which was, again, some of the best character work in the whole movie was between those two and involving those two. So I really love that stuff. But let's go on to the Dark Order, or the Black Order, sorry. Thanos' Black Order, which was probably the weakest part of the film for me. I wasn't really sold on the Black Order. The Ebony Maw, it was a pretty cool character, very powerful. It was weird because he and I believe the Corvus Glaive is the big dude, I think. The fight between the two of them and the two, Wong, Doctor Strange, and then both Spider-Man and Iron Man was way one-sided on the the bad guy's side. Ebony Maw was just kind of really took him to task, and they the Black Order overwhelmed those arguably a few of the most powerful characters on the good guy's side. And then on the other side we had Proxima Midnight and whatever the other guy's name was. He might be Corvus Glaive. I don't remember what the other two guys' names are. But they actually got taken out by Captain America's team, or driven off by Captain America's team, which is all normal humans, except for Captain America's augmented, who, while they were actually whooping Vision and Scarlet Witch's butt beforehand, and then these 4 regular humans show up and kind of turn the tide, which is kind of weird, but whatever. Okay, so, maybe Vision had hurt him already or something. But
Captain America.
Yeah, So it was. I mean, it was a cool encounter, and you had to have the Black Order there to keep some action going wherever Thanos wasn't. But I just really wasn't sold on the Black Order. They didn't really do it for me. They just came out of nowhere. They're these uber powerful guys who are as powerful as you need them to be in the scene, but as weak as you need them to be to give the normal humans a chance to actually shine and fight in the combat sequences. So I'm glad, again, spoiler version, I'm glad that at least in all appearances they're all dead at this point. I didn't need them hanging around for the next movie. I think it should focus on Thanos. Now that we've got this, for the most part, everybody together, everybody who's still alive together. Now we can keep those focused together, and not be off on these weird one-time bad guys that they didn't do it for me. So, anyways. Okay, so let's wrap this up then. Obviously, those of you who have seen or read the Infinity Gauntlet series in the comic books, you know that Thanos puts together the gauntlet, and then ultimately he uses, snap of his finger, wipes out half the universe. That's how we end the movie. Thor almost kills him, but not quite. Thanos gets to mock him last little bit where he's all like, "Nah, you should have gone for my head. Now I get to snap," wipes out half the universe, and then himself vanishes. And then we get some really emotional scenes where various members of the universe, all of the newer ones, basically, get wiped out of existence, and then we're left with basically just the core team and Rocket. For some reason, we get Rocket. So you've got the original Avengers and Rocket, and then some of the people from Wakanda are still there. We don't know if Shuri survives, so we'll see if we get to see Shuri as the Black Panther. Probably not, since all of the heart-shaped flowers were wiped out, so she doesn't have a way to get that. that power, but maybe she'll do an Iron Man-esque kind of thing and be in this group. That would be awesome, because Shuri's an amazing character.
Ironheart.
But yeah, she can be Ironheart, so that would be cool. We'll see. Don't know if that's going to happen, but anyways, so that's we end the movie. No idea how we're going to go forward. We have a post-credit scene where Nick Fury and Maria Hill are wiped out of existence, but before that happens, Nick is able to send out a distress call to Captain Marvel. So she will be obviously involved in the next movie, but otherwise we have no idea where this is going. We do get a little scene of Thanos at the end of the movie. You know, this isn't a post-credit or anything like that. The gauntlet's messed up. It's like charred and stuff like that. Whether or not that's damaged the stones or his ability to use the gauntlet, we don't know. But he basically got to do what he wanted to do. He wiped out half the universe and then went and sat down on a hillside and watched the sunrise. Or set. I don't remember which. But anyways, that was his entire goal. He's like, hey, I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. I'm done. Now the heroes are going to have to go and figure out a way to undo what he's done. No idea how they're going to approach that. But that's awesome. That's exciting. It jazzed me up to see the next one next year. So overall, this is a great movie. I highly recommend you go out and watch it. Watch it multiple times. I'm sure you're going to see stuff you didn't notice the first time. You're going to hear lines you didn't hear the first time because the audience was cracking up at various jokes. But yeah, it's well worth it. It is easily a top 5, I think, at this point. I think that's safe to say. It's not my favorite, but it is definitely up there. All right, guys, thank you very much for checking this out, and see you next time.
Wow, thank you, Doug, for informing us your opinion.
Well, man, that is all we can do right now with this movie. It is amazing. It's a roller coaster ride. It is an event. Yeah. And
I can't wait till I can afford to go see it.
I can't wait to see it again. Yes.
I can't wait to see it again. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you for watching us. You know, this is therapy for us after this emotional roller coaster of a movie. We're gonna come talk to you guys about it. Appreciate you watching it. If you liked it, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe. If you haven't, tell your friends about us. If you want to support the channel, you can do so through a number of ways. The links down below for Teespring shop, for Amazon affiliate link, and for Patreon.
Yep.
So, all right, guys. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.